I have some reactions to Elon Musk's recent request of all the federal workers to list the 5 things that you did last week, 5 things that you achieved. I really think it's pretty douchey and it obliterates the rapport for your staff and it destroys autonomy. And I think if the employee is doing unimportant things, that's really leadership's fault. And that's a failure of leadership to not support the staff to align powerfully with their mission. That's leadership stuff. And I really think that this is sort of it's a great example of leadership excusing itself from the situation when they have a staff person, fend for themselves basically. And, like when they would do, the old corporate stuff in the 90s and 2000s of, write a paragraph of why you should keep your job. It's just really crappy. It's definitely a total lack of emotional intelligence. And I think things are getting worse. Online, I just had a little debate online. It's a silly example, but I'm a big heavy metal fan and heavy metal music. And there's a singer, Dio, Ronnie James Dio, and he's a Black Sabbath singer, and so was Ozzy Osbourne, and I love Ozzy. And I made a point that I said, well, Dio is a much better, proficient, technically proficient singer than Ozzy. But Ozzy had all the great songs, and he was lovable and relatable and much more than Dio could ever be. So someone responds back, "Oh, you must have crap in your ears." I'm thinking, I just was looking at the comment saying, what a comment to say. How about explain your differing opinion, which I'd be interested in hearing. Maybe I'd learn something. Maybe I would listen to Dio with a different, fresh set of ears. That's how human beings talk. You say your opinion, and I might say mine a little bit differently, and then we negotiate and kind of talk it through. It's just people are becoming so mean online, and it's just shocking. So I think this sort of thing, guts the person's motivation, and I think the staff person should be thinking, well, why am I proving myself to you? You're the leader. How about you show me something? You show me some great dazzling stuff. That's what I think. And I think also when it comes down to it, here are some solutions. We are actually pretty poor judges of the most meaningful moments that we have and the most powerful actions that we take. And I've learned this because I keep an audio journal where each day I'm on guard for, the interesting things that happen, observations, and I jot them down in my notebook. Here's the example of my capture notebook. It's just a art sketchbook, blank. And I just use a couple different pens. I use a red pen for my comments about my audio journal and a green pen for ideas that I have about my business or for blogging or making videos. And then I use a black or a blue pen just for all the other daily stuff. And it's really helpful to have that capture notebook. I guarantee if that employee had their capture notebook, they would be able to write down some spiffy things for Elon Musk to see that they do. So with this audio journal process, you really are picking out the gems of the day. You're sifting through all the events of the day after the day happens and jotting down those little things. And a lot of times, even after I do that, if I'm quiet for a little bit, then I'll discover something even better that I really didn't think of. So most of these great moments just fly by us. We don't even capture them. We're not even aware of them. An example, I'm a music therapist as well. And one example is a teen group that I led that, we were focused on lyric discussion with healthy versus unhealthy relationships. And one person said, one girl said, well, this happens to every girl here, when we're talking about whatever. And then one of the guys says, well, this happens to the guys too. This happened to me. And the girl was like, it does. And it was such a real response, really right there in the moment. And it was just an awesome moment. And I was just sort of like, I'm just going to be quiet and let the group, being supportive of each other. That's awesome. This is what you want, the group to start helping each other. So that's a big success. And I never would have thought of it. Another example is I have a music therapy group called the Recovery Through Music group. And usually I would focus on the songs that we do and the stuff that happened in the session until I realized something bigger. One day I walked back to the units. It is a psychiatric hospital with patients that were in my group. And I just realized they were just chatting and chumming along and, like just gabbing like we just finished a nice round of golf. And I'm like, this is where it's at. This camaraderie and the experience that they shared was really so valuable. Another element that I think of is the idea of these new roles that you need. If you're stuck in doing boring, you know, unimportant action steps for your job, you probably need to start focusing on different roles, better roles. I call them placeholder roles. And you don't actually have to be doing them right now. You can just have a placeholder for it. Maybe, like an example might be supervisor or expert, innovator, problem solver, visionary. I have one called the Willy Wonka of creativity, a vanguard, a badass of XYZ, fill in the blank. It might be to start your own business. So there's a big focus on vision as well, and not just rehashing the past. And I just recently saw the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown. I really liked it, and I do recommend it highly. And then that got me into thinking, I want to learn more about Bob Dylan. So I watched his 60 Minutes interview, and he started talking about destiny and vision for your life, and it was really powerful. And so it got me thinking, how could the leadership be planting seeds in their employees? How could they be creating a spark? That's what you need to be doing as a leader. Now, Bob Dylan's quote in Bob Dylan's 60-minute interview, he said, I was heading for the fantastic lights. Destiny was looking right at me and nobody else. And when asked about destiny, because he kept using that word, and I think of destiny also as being a vision for your life, he says that it's a feeling you have that you know something about yourself nobody else does. The picture you have in your mind about what you are about will come true. You have to keep it to yourself. It's a fragile feeling. If you put it out there, someone will kill it. So it's best to keep that all inside. Very interesting. He's one of the most interesting guys I know of. I'm surprised he's still around, but he's definitely a genius with lyrics. Now, another response to this Elon Musk request is the whole idea of work-life balance. If you're getting requests like that, it might not be long for you to have that job. So it's even more important to be working on your whole life, not just your occupation. You have a whole series of different roles and hats that you wear. And it's important to cultivate and curate all of those roles all the time. That's why I have my deck here, and it is available on my website. All the hats we wear, work-life balance deck. And this will help you spread out all these cards and really focus in on all of these different hats that you wear and the goals that you have for each one, mini mission statements for each role, a system for managing projects, and all that stuff about creativity and audio journal is all in there. There's a ton of great ideas that I'm sure you've never heard. So check it out. So you want to be thinking big and always be looking further down the road than you are, especially if you're in a crappy situation with a job. So here's a powerful strategy for dealing with poor leadership, and that gets you focused on small stuff. This is a antidote to that, focusing on your vision statement. A vision statement really is about, it could be 10 to 12, pretty short, but bold measurement statements or goals, or it could be identities as well. And you just write them twice a day, once in the morning and once before bed. Have a special notebook. Here's my old notebook. And I'll share some of my vision statement with you so you can do something similar. I practice transcendental meditation daily. I weigh 190 pounds. I'm the best dad I can be. I'm a visionary. I'm a world-class problem solver. I'm a real-life Willy Wonka. My company, All the Hats We Wear, generates X dollars per year. I earn X dollars per month. I'm a philanthropist. I have a net worth of X. I enjoy abundance in every role. I'm joyful, productive, and fulfilled. I believe more every day. So there are a few of my responses to this whole Elon Musk craziness. And I hope that you take some good ideas from there. And check out the website, allthehatswewear.com, for more info on your work-life balance.